What's going on, everyone? It's Wednesday, September 24th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm your host today, Jace Cooper, alongside my good friend and producer, Jacob Gramegna, behind the boards. We got a great show. We got a stacked show for you today. I know I say that every single day, but this time I really mean I'm excited to talk to all three of these guests. Leading off today, we have Geoff Fienberg coming on. He's going to talk a little bit of Ryder Cup. And I believe he says this is his favorite golf tournament of the entire year. So, going to have a lot to talk about here. He has a ton of bets that he's already fired off. So, if you're looking for some sweats for the Ryder Cup, this is a good place to do so. And I know he's got great, not really, I guess it's CLV on the on the winner of this. So, Geoff kind of knows his stuff when he's talking about golf. A little bit of wagertainment fun for everyone, for you to watch the Ryder Cup this weekend. Then up next, we're going to have Matt Freeman coming on. He's going to be talking some player props, some positional groupings, just how things shake out in the NFL in terms of injuries, situations, things of that nature. Then finally, Dinsick is going to come on. People really enjoyed his segment 2 weeks ago. He's going to break down his sides and totals that he's bet already this week. Tell us a little bit about why he likes it. There's some things that I oppose him on, and I'm going to push back. We'll have a good little back and forth there. And that's the rundown for the show. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm a little under the weather, so bear with me today. It's very appreciated. Before we get started, though, do us a huge favor. Smash that like button. Goes a long way here in the algorithm. If half of you smash the like button right now, we will double our likes. So it'd be appreciated if you guys do that. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're not willing to hit it just yet, stay around for the whole video, and I feel like we'll have earned your subscribe. So make sure you do that. Goes a long way for us here in the channel. Jacob, you were at the Jays game last night. How was it?
Well, bit of a downer because the Jays lost. There was some very poor officiating as well, which did not help the occasion. Mm-hmm. When it was 1-0 Red Sox, Springer had a 2 RBI single that got called back for foul ball when it was clearly fair. And then the very next pitch outside the zone, he got called for a strike 3. And then they lost, and the Yankees came back and won the bottom of the 9th. So double whammy. Jays AL East is in a bit of peril right now. American League first seed is in a bit of peril right now. Yeah,
it should be. I mean, we should be able to close it out. What do we need? 4 wins, at least 4 wins plus 4 or not?
Yeah, magic number is 4. So
yes.
4 combined Yankees losses and Jays wins in the last 5 games. So they're still very large favorites, but they are. They're over our shoulder. And Rob says in the chat, Yankees kind of was sickening. It was just like I had the pitch cast on my phone as I'm watching the Jays lose the bottom of the night, and then just the haunting moment when it turns to 3-2 and it says final score. Yeah.
That's always tough. Yeah, it was Tuesday, though. You had some good hot dogs?
Yeah, 8 hot dogs. My body isn't happy today.
That's all right. You could have gone for the 999, but I guess the beers would have been the
I was with my uncle. I didn't really want to crush 9 beers in front of my uncle.
I feel like it's more taboo to crush 8 hot dogs than crush 8 beers in front of your uncle, no? It's a lot of glizzies.
Maybe. But it was Looney Dog Day, so
no, I know.
You got to do it.
I'm just playing around. Anyways, before we get into Geoff, just want to quickly remind you, we've been pushing it every show, but we still want more people to join. We have over 600 members in our Discord right now. It's only been live for like a week and a little bit. But we know you guys like to hang out with us here in the chat. But when the show's over, there's nowhere really else to go, so we started our Discord, discord.gg/hammer. Jump in there, join in on the conversation, because I see you guys in the chat already enjoying the conversation. You can get in there, chat with Rob, chat with myself, chat with Jacob, chat with George, and plenty of other Hammer creators. We're living in that Discord now. So whenever we're off the shows, people have always asked, where can we hang out? Now you guys got a place to hang out, discord.gg/hammer. If Geoff is ready, I think let's fire him up and bring him on. Let's just do it, because it seems like he's ready. You've seen him on Circle Back live on the Monday show. He's a Chargers fan. He's a golf enthusiast. He's paranoid and he's distrustful, but he's still a good friend of the show. Geoff, how's it going?
I don't know that I'm that paranoid. Maybe a little neurotic. How's my video, my audio? I don't know. It seems like at this network I always have problems.
You look, in my eyes, you look great. And I will say, Geoff, in case you didn't get the context of that, Adam Schefter just tweeted before we went live. In his weekly newsletter, in an entry titled "Do Your Job," published Wednesday, Tom Brady wrote that only the paranoid and distrustful believe there's conflict in his roles, which is why I led you in as someone who's paranoid.
He's a cheater. He doesn't have the equity, like historically, to get away with this in terms of putting this around.
Yeah. So
listen, I agree. Maybe the people freaking out about the Zoom interviews are like a little paranoid. To me, it goes way beyond. It goes way beyond. Brady gets the pulse of another team. He gets to loiter your sidelines 2 hours before a game. And I get, well, head coaches will ice him out. There's like assistants of assistants. This guy owns a team. He's an owner. He's a potential future person to hire you. You are nice to those people in all walks of life. Whatever. Let's move on.
Sorry, I just needed to get that clip for socials. All right, let's get into Ryder Cup discussion. This is why you're here. I mean, Geoff, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've told people that this is your favorite tournament of the year.
Yeah, I think I like it better than the Masters.
Can you tell us a little bit why?
Well, it's like a 1A, it's a 1B thing, but I just I love match play itself. You see how much these guys care with no money on the line. Well, at least for Europe, how much that they care, how much they care about each other, how much they care. Like, look at their faces when they're watching their teammates play. I don't mean the guy they're in the match with. I mean the guy that they're sitting outside the green, like just watching like a spectator. We get a Monday Night Raw circus-like weekly schedule of 72-hole stroke play. Like, sorry, no offense. And don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting to see a Legacies made. Legacies aren't made at the Ryder Cup unless you win roadies. Legacies are for major championships. It's not about that. It's not about that to me. Like match play and what comes with it is incredible. All these guys do every single day is play the most boring form of golf. And by that, I mean they are only wired to just try to get the ball, to do nothing risky unless they're 2 shots behind with 4 shots left, with 4 holes left. Every week, there's so much money for 30th place, 40th place, 50th place, Jason. These guys, all they do is plod along a golf course. Do you know what match play brings? Match play brings your buddy's got a 5-footer for birdie, or your opponent, you're in a rough spot. You play hero ball. On the PGA Tour, they'll hit it out 30 yards, they'll get on the green, they'll 2-putt, they'll make bogey, they'll move to the next hole without thinking about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's an atmosphere and a level of play that we truly never get, and I adore it. I would throw myself down a flight of stairs to be able to watch every minute of it and be bedridden, but good for me, I married the right fucking woman.
No, Geoff, you always get me fired up when it comes to this stuff. You can tell how passionate you are about it, and I know you've told me beforehand that you've made plenty of bets and are ready to talk about kind of anything when it comes to this Ryder Cup. Listen, I'm excited for it. Now, let's talk about the winner. There's kind of 2 markets you can look at, either the winner 3-way or to lift the trophy. Do you have any certain bets right now? Currently, the 3-way is minus 155 for the U.S., plus 170 for Europe, and then plus 1,000 for the tie. And then to lift the trophy is minus 152 U.S. and plus 124 Europe.
So, I've had bets on Europe for months that go up to plus 175, but that's in the 3-way, Jason, because when I'm betting this thing, the lift the trophy market isn't up yet.
Okay.
But it's, if you're afraid of the tie, and it always seems possible, even though I haven't got one, at least in my memories, and I believe the next tie will be the last tie. Like any rule in sports that ends, that feels like people are unsatisfied with something, they will change it, but I think it'll take a tie to end the tie. So I've got plus 175, plus 170, plus 160 on Europe to win. I look at this pretty simply. I see this as 2 very even teams, 2 incredibly even teams, and rich Long Island kids and Wall Street bootlickers aren't enough for me to not want the plus price. And I say that as I respect home, home's home course and being in control of that is important in this thing. But I also am not going to be turned off these plus European prices when I believe, I don't even know how USA could set up this course that is an advantage to them that could hurt Europe, when essentially the player profiles of the rosters are the exact same. Don't get me wrong. Pizzola tells me all the time, Sloan Analytics, the biggest home field in sports is this Ryder Cup, our Ryder Cups. But I also believe that data was taken from a time when the teams had distinctively different player profiles. USA was bomber heavy, and Europe was like Henrik Stenson, Lee Westwood, Graham McDowell, Ian Poulter, Sergio Garcia, like a totally different type of player. Where course set up and getting those guys into the spots they didn't want to be in, I could see would have an effect. Now I look at these teams, for every bomber America has, Europe has. For every great ball striking plotter Europe has, America has one. So the rough will be short, the greens will run fast, but I'm on Team Europe. They pull off a roadie upset about once a decade, Jason. Once a decade, European golf pulls off the roadie. USA golf never pulls off the roadie. That being said, I don't think a Europe blowout is an option. It's a Europe win, USA win, USA blowout. Like a road blowout just seems so unfathomable to me, as much as I'm riding with Europe.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about some props and get into props right here, because obviously you talked about the home field that the U.S. has. The market's not posted right now on FanDuel, and maybe it'll come up later, so I have to ask this question because I've had 3 separate people text me specifically about this bet. It was to hit the first tee for the U.S. Everyone's all over Bryson DeChambeau, saying, the handicap here is that he hits a bomb. It's going to be electric. It's going to feel like, a real American when you watch Bryson hit up and just absolutely smoke the ball. Do you have a look there? If he's the favorite, would you be betting it when the markets are posted? Or are you kind of because in my eyes, like I've always thought that the tour doesn't really like Bryson. Right, because he was like a live guy, but I don't know if they've come around on him now. So maybe they don't want to give him that spotlight. Maybe I'm looking way too deep in the weeds here. But do you have any opinion on to hit the first tee for the U.S.?
Yeah, so I would say you're too deep in the weeds on that.
Okay.
I would say, like a lot of things in sports, this is an info market. So getting down heavy is kind of hard because there's an answer that's already out there. Some people know it. I've been fortunate enough, Jason, to get some great information on this sort of bet in the past. That's been right from someone deeply connected to a player, and I've been unfortunately on the wrong side of information from someone who'd been right before, deeply connected to a player. So I treat all of it with a grain of salt, but like anything, I don't want to call it national anthem-esque, but this is an info market, right? And there are people with ability and tentacles to get info that are working hard on it, although I believe this market is pretty hard to get down something that would make the pro better salivate over. Although, I know all you guys got 100 beards, so maybe you can make it work. I agree with the narrative that Keegan sends Bryson out there to, Hulk Hogan it out on the opening tee just to start this freaking event off with a firework.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess the players on the tour have come around to Bryson kind of thing.
And I would say, let me tell you, here's a tip for all bettors, even the smartest ones who think I'm an idiot. Who probably don't want me even sharing this. And there's a lot of smart people that be like, why even talking? I don't know. I'm a wagertainment guy. I'll just pass along what I feel. There's opportunity here. There's a lot of sports books, and a lot of the people listening probably have multiples. When those first matches come out for tomorrow around 4:00 on Thursday afternoon, some sports books will have not pulled their Ryder Cup prop markets. They're busy dealing with football. They don't take a lot of action on golf. There will be like an opportunity for an aware golf bettor to hit markets to see, that guy's playing with Rory. That guy could let me ride Rory's coattails by getting points with this guy. Like there will just be ancillary ways that you can take advantage. Now some books will pull them down. Some books are aware and they're smart and they're not going to let you. But if you're one of these guys, 5, 6, 4, 8 sports books, you will find a sports book that leaves the props up when those matches come out for the first session, which opens the door for someone to have an incredible week, or you see who's on the bench, and that's a guy you might not want no part of.
All right, I love it. Giving us good information here. That's what we're here for. Hashtag Fienberg for the people. Let's flip over, talk some more prop bets here. Let's start off with like the top overall scorer right now. Scotty Scheffler plus 500 is in the lead. John Rahm 9-1, Rory 9-1, Bryson 10-1, and then the list goes on and on here. Do you have anyone you like in terms of odds for the top overall scorer?
So I'm a slut for my guys. So out of the gate, like last week, I bet a little Kelly Kapowski and Kelly Taylor. That's Ludwig and and Victor at bigger numbers like 28 and 25. Those have come down. If like one of my friends asked me what I like today in that market, it's actually an easy call. Rory McIlroy, I've seen as high as 10-1. It's available. This is a 5-session player. This is a course fit. This is an in-form player. He won like 2 weeks ago out in Ireland. Like just ride or die Rory. Like, sure, I'm afraid Scotty's going to pull 4.5 points or something, but Rory McIlroy 10-1 seems incredibly fair, incredibly right and fair. And if I didn't have my bets, that's what I would be betting.
All right, I appreciate that. Rory McIlroy it is. Let's talk some top rookie stuff as well. Let's stick with the top scorers here. Anyone you like in particular? Henley seems to be the favorite right now, plus 125. Cam Young, plus 260. Ben Griffin, plus 430. JJ Spawn, plus 500. Then Rasmus Højgaard, 10-1.
So there's some reports that USA is like pretty much going to be benching their rookies to start tomorrow. Maybe I believe it. That being said, Russell Henley is the favorite there, Jason, because he will get sessions with Scotty Scheffler. I was at the President's Cup in Montreal last year. They were a wonderful duo. Russell keeps it in the fairway. It just allows Scotty to be Scotty, not playing out of someone's ball in the rough or something. So Russell Henley leads the way, and there's rumors Cam Young is going to get shots with Bryson. So that is why I've got no opinion whatsoever on that market. If I did have to dip into one of those, like top wild card, I do like Cantlay as the favorite at plus 300. He's built for this. He's like the only American player, in my opinion, who's embraced this cauldron in the past. Foursomes, whatever the format is, I could see Cantlay being run out there. If I had to make a pick in one of those rookies wild card markets, it would be Cantlay.
All right, Cantlay right now is 6-1 over on FanDuel. Let's talk. Are you honing in on any of these total points over unders for any of these guys? Do you have anyone you like in specifically?
Yeah, so specifically I do like it's a bit of you're sort of calling your shot here because he hasn't had great Ryder Cup success in the past, and that's Matthew Fitzpatrick. It's an over under 1.5 points. I'm playing it to the over at even or slightly plus money. There's fewer players that come into this event with the form that Fitzpatrick comes into. He unfortunately in the past Ryder Cups he didn't come into with this sort of form. He's finished like sixth, fourth through the summer at the Genesis and the Open Championship. Like he is just on such a run of incredible form. Outside of like Tommy Fleetwood, who got his win, and Rory, there's probably not a European player in better form. Europe's all about the data. I think Fitz is a lovely fit. You could even send him out with an elite player like Rory. I think Fitz plays more than people think. I think Fitz wins more than people think. Matthew Fitzpatrick over 1.5 points.
All right, right now listed on FanDuel, his total points would be 2 points or more, plus 100.
Yes, that's 1.5.
Exactly,
if he gets to 2, you win.
Exactly. Yeah, I just wanted to specify that for people in case they had some trouble finding out where to go there. All right, you had some bold takes. Give me your most bold take when it comes to the Ryder Cup here. Stake your flag, plant your flag. What do you think, whether it's a prediction on what you think is going to happen, whether it's a bold call? Like, you tell me what you have, your hottest take for the Ryder Cup. Fire away.
The hottest thing, the thing that I will probably get the most pushback on, and listen, like, I'll be cheering for great golf. Like I will be. I'll lose a few bets. It'll fall into the football ledger. Those Fezzik baseball futures I got are going to cash this weekend, Jason. So I can't lose. It's going to be a soft landing regardless. This one might sound a little crazy. I'm going to pick on Bryson DeChambeau.
Okay.
He's not a wild card in terms of the market, but to me, he's still a wild card. He's a volatile player, and I don't mean from hole to hole, which in match play is perfect because you can make a 9 and then it doesn't matter. You're not getting stroked on it. You just lose the hole. I just think he can be a weird pairing. I'd argue he remains friendless while they put on a strong face. This is a hot take. Not many people would agree with it, but when I have an opportunity to get a Rory and a Rahm at essentially a pick'em price versus Bryson, and I'm confident Rory and Rahm will play 5 sessions, that is just something I'm willing to attack. I think it's just as good of a course fit for those guys as it is for Bryson. And I would warn people not to use 2023 as depending on too much as to who's going to rest and who's going to play for Europe. I say that because Europe absolutely mollywopped America. Up 4-0 in the first session, never looked back. That allowed for Luke Donald to create rest pockets for some of the elite, the higher end players, like a John Rahm. 5 rounds, 3 days, right? It's a lot of golf. I don't believe if you want to win on the road, that luxury is going to be afforded to Luke Donald. I don't think he'll ever have the lead where he might feel comfortable to do that. So I would not pay too much attention to those 2023 not full session players.
All right, so you're almost, it seems like you're fading Bryson DeChambeau. It seems to be like that's what you want to do. I don't know. Have you done that in market yet, or is this just more so you think people are going to be
I'll get there. Okay. I'll have head-to-heads with Rory and with Bryson against with Rory and with Rahm against Bryson, both separate head-to-head total points.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. I'm trying to pull up these markets right now as we go on the fly, but it's going to take me a second here. Any predictions for day one? Yeah, anything you like in terms of day one? Do you think it's just going to be, or is this just stuff that you don't really think about and just look to play?
Yeah, it's stuff I don't really think about, but this is another thing, Jason, where there might be a book or two that leaves the numbers up, right? As the matches get thrown out. But I'll be doing spaces all week.
Okay.
Pretty much like when those matches come out tomorrow, I'll be doing a space. After the Friday play, when the Saturday morning session comes out, I'll be doing a space. Saturday night, when the singles are out, I'll be doing a space. So I'll be all in this. I'll be all up in this this week. Thanks to my friends over at Bet Online. Sorry, Rob.
All right, all good. Let's you can find that. No, I'm not plugging your Twitter. People can go find Twitter in the description. Geoff, before I let you go, how you feel this week about the Chargers going up against a rookie quarterback? Do you think Jesse Minter's just going to absolutely eat on Jackson Dart, or are you a little scared of just the question mark that is Jackson
I'm a little
Dart?
scared because there's an unknown. I wanted Russ so badly. I wanted his little duck balls. That being said, Jackson Dart's ceiling, we might see it a few times, but if you've watched Jesse Minter and the Chargers over his 20 games, we'll see Jackson Dart's floor a couple times also. A lot of disguises possible, but I'm not doubting his ability to extend plays, make plays. It actually has me a lot more nervous. I'm not happy about it.
That's all right. Listen, you guys are still 6.5-point favorites. I love the Chargers this year. Justin Herbert for MVP. We got to start the campaign soon, Geoff. You have the most influence on Twitter of all of us, so you got to be the one kind of leading the charge. No, why not?
They don't listen to me. They don't call me. I got no influence. I just enjoy them. I'm a fan. Bolt up, but I don't know. Like, talk to me in a month and a half about the MVP stuff. Like, I don't even register with that.
Fair. It's like a November award, but yeah, if anything, we love Justin Herbert on this channel. So, Geoff, appreciate you joining the show. We'll talk soon. You can find Geoff on Twitter in the description. You can also find him here on our live watch-alongs. You'll be with us Thursday, right, Geoff?
Yeah. Cardinals, Seahawks.
Cardinals,
Banger.
Seahawks. Do you have anything you like for that game quickly before I let you go?
No. I've just been so captivated in the golf. I missed a couple things in the football, and then I've just had the discipline to stay away. But tomorrow I won't have the discipline. I'll bet some late.
All right, sounds good. Geoff, I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
All the best, Jason. Keep on keeping on, buddy. Anytime.
All right, see you, Geoff. Awesome stuff. One's in the chat for Geoff. We love Geoff. Good friend of the show. Some of you don't know, but Geoff and I actually went to Chicago, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But before we do, we have Matt Freeman coming on. But before we get to Matt Freeman, got a quick shout out to our sponsors over at FanDuel. Football fans, this NFL season, you can call your own audibles with Your Way exclusively on FanDuel. Your Way gives you the power to adjust lines, customize player props, and create bets you can't find anywhere else for a game-changing experience. So whether you want to bet on how many passing yards, rushing yards, even touchdowns, you set the line, you get the new odds instantly. Me personally, I love hitting my inverse correlation stuff, but sometimes some of the guys I want to bet on, they're 1.5 receptions. And like, you know what? If I want a guy to get 60 yards and on few receptions, I'm not going to bet under 1.5. I don't want 1 60-yard catch. Give me 2 or 3. FanDuel Your Way allows you to do that. Plus, with Your Way, you can make head-to-head bets by position or by player. However you want to play, FanDuel is your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/forward-progress to get in on the action. That's FanDuel.com/forward-progress to bet your way. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliates with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit gamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. let's bring him on up here. He's an author over at Matthew Berry Fantasy Life. He's a good friend of the show. We haven't talked in quite a while. Matt, how's it going?
It's good. Thanks for having me. We used to do the Friday prop pod together. That was fun. But yeah, it's good to be back on the show and talking with you.
I know. I'm super excited. Looking forward to it. It's one of my most favorite shows that I've ever done on this network. Love talking props with you guys, and love talking props with you as well, Matt. It's funny. We had Jack Miller on, I think it was last week as well. So maybe we got to get Legaze on week after. I want to talk about some positional stuff. We're going to break down some player props, some injuries, how are you reacting to that stuff. A lot of props aren't posted just now, but there are some, and there's one I want to get into in particular. I talked about it with Geoff Fienberg. I don't know if you heard this before you got on the show. I was asking him how he feels about Jesse Minter coming in against Jackson Dart, new quarterback. Is he worried at all? When I woke up this morning, just wanted to check some lines that are posted. I was shocked to see a bunch of Jackson Dart stuff posted, but the thing that shocked me the most, I guess relatively low limits, but he's listed with 35.5 rushing yards. To put that into like perspective, Daniel Jones 26.5, Lamar Jackson 39.5. He's in like the upper echelon of rushing totals in terms of quarterbacks. Also, just taking a look at his passing yards, he's around 190-ish and a half, like towards the high 190s. So obviously, big question mark with Jackson Dart. We have no idea what to expect, but I'm going to ask you to figure it out for us anyways. Matt, what are you expecting from Jackson Dart here going up against a DC who seems to be able to kind of beat up on bad quarterbacks?
That's a really aggressive line. And I'll say, like, I can see it because of what Jackson Dart did in college as a scrambler, and then what we saw out of him in the preseason. And then, typically what we sometimes see out of rookie quarterbacks in their early starts, they might tend to scramble a little bit more. So I can understand why the line is as high as it is, but still 35 is pretty aggressive. That's sort of like a tier below. It's not like up to like a Lamar Jackson line or a Jalen Hurts line, but it's like a tier below that, but it's certainly above what we would expect out of some of the other quarterbacks who have shown decent mobility. So I think it's an aggressive line, and I have my projection right now at 27.5. And the highest I could get for it would be 31.5, but that would be me sort of stretching it beyond where I feel comfortable. But 27.5 is my projection right now for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, this seems wrong. And it's like, I thought maybe one book was off, and then I checked everything. And I'm like, wow, the whole market is painted like 35.5. Some juiced under out there, but a lot of it is just essentially minus 114 on both sides. Any opinion on his passing prop? Let me just pull it up here quickly. 192.5 over at FanDuel. Could be upwards of the high 190s. 198 is the highest number I see here. Any opinion on that in particular, or not really?
I'm not that far off of market. I'm at 202.6. So, I think I'm kind of a little bit to the over, but I think he's going to be, in terms of passing, a shade under Russell Wilson in terms of the yardage. I don't think he's going to be as efficient at turning yards into touchdowns. But in terms of just accumulating yards, I think it's just a little bit under what we would have expected from Wilson.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough here. Appreciate that. I think also if the rushing yards as well could potentially be skewed from his only usage that we saw in the regular season so far is like him coming out to play these like really obscure, random 1 or 2 snaps, and he's just handing the ball off. They were very clearly designed runs, probably designed option runs, where you knew he wasn't throwing the ball. But yeah, we'll see if Dayball can get in his bag. But again, 6.5 points for a rookie. It's going to be pretty tough. A lot of messy running back rooms in the NFL today. One in particular, which kind of stemmed from injury, which sucked to see. Austin Eckler, veteran in the league, blows out his ACL 2 weeks ago. And when that happens, of course, people are trying to figure out who's going to be the guy, who's going to be the lead. People thought maybe it was full go for Bill Krosky-Merritt. Some people thought Chris Rodriguez slides in, takes his role. Other people thought McNichols would slide in and take the Eckler role. Well, tough to derive a lot from last week. We got basically, essentially it was a blowout. But snap share was as follows: 40% for Bill, 38% for Chris Rodriguez, and then 26% for McNichols. What do you expect to see moving forward? Are we just going to see like a 3-headed sort of mixture of guys kind of doing different things here? Do you think Bill Krosky-Merritt can separate himself from the rest? Because Chris Rodriguez was a healthy scratch, right? He's healthy and active, but he comes in and he plays 38% of the snaps, which seems a little crazy to me. So do you think we're going to see a switch there where Rodriguez maybe ticks down a bit, Bill moves up, or is this just going to be gross, everyone splitting time?
I think it's probably going to be gross. If I had to say one guy breaks out among the trio, I would imagine it's Krosky Merritt.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically me just taking a shot at it and, sort of saying like there's the uncertainty of the unknown with him. I have a pretty decent sense of what Chris Rodriguez is and what Jeremy McNichols is at this point in their career. We don't have as much certainty with Krosky Merritt just because we've seen him now for 3 NFL games, and we didn't get to see him much in college because of his situation last year. But right now, just looking at the different shares for rushing, for example, I have Krosky Merritt this week leading the backfield with 7.9 carries. Rodriguez I projected for 7.6. They're like right there with each other. And then Jeremy McNichols at 3.8. So I think it's going to be a pretty disgusting amalgamation in this backfield. But if there is going to be one guy who separates, I would bet on it being Krosky Merritt.
How does Jaden Daniels affect all three of these guys being out right here? Because I mean, Marcus Mariota stepped in. Don't want to say he looked as good as Jaden Daniels, but he looks to be serviceable enough. We know that Jaden Daniels has that rushing impact that can open up for running backs. So when Jaden Daniels is back, do you expect to see maybe like an uptick in yardage for these guys just across the board?
So I'm projecting Jaden Daniels to be in this week. That might be a little bit aggressive, but right now I'm making that projection. If the switch goes to Mariota, it will impact more of the passing game than the rushing game for everyone. So the projection wouldn't tick down much for those guys as runners. It would impact more Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin. Who knows if he's even playing this game? And the same would be true for Noah Brown.
All right. Let's flip over from one messy RB room to another. The New England running back room. We saw Travion Henderson 2 weeks ago get like absolutely none of the work. Seemed like he was phased out early on because I think he missed a couple assignments. And then there was that wheel route that Ramondre Stevenson ran, and everyone was freaking out because that was the route they were running with Henderson in practice. It was supposed to go to Henderson. Now this week, Ramondre Stevenson, 2 fumbles, 1 at the goal line. Antonio Gibson gets in, fumbles the ball again. The fumbling issues across the board. We saw a 46% snap share for Henderson, who kind of got a lot more work once after those 2 guys fumbled. Do you expect to see them to continue this trend where Henderson might be increasing his workload? It seems like he's struggled a lot out there in finding the right holes in the running situations. Passing downs, I think he's looked good. Do you expect to see a slower move towards Henderson, or again, like the Washington running back room, just disgusting gross that you want no part of?
I mean, I kind of want no part of it. I had conversations with various people in the fantasy industry during the offseason, some people who were super aggressive on Travion Henderson. And I wouldn't say I was putting on a full fade on Henderson, but I thought he was really out punting the hype. And I feel like he might get saved by Ramondre Stevenson and the fumble issues there. Maybe that's his avenue to getting more playing time. But in the big picture, it is an offense that is fairly underwhelming. It is at this point, maybe a 3-man backfield. And Travion Henderson, even if he gets some of the yardage opportunities, he's probably not going to get a lot of the goal line opportunities. And so I think the ceiling for him is really capped. But I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, he has to be punished in some way. Like, they can't put him out there the first series, given that he just fumbled 2 times last week. I think he has 9 fumbles in his past 18 games, just like absolutely outrageous stuff. So I do think Travion Henderson has the opening to seize the lead back role. I don't know how valuable that actually is. And then 2, we're still going to see Ramondre Stevenson because I think he will get the goal line opportunities. And for a big guy, he's still a pretty good pass catcher too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think you're right about the last 18 games. I know he led the league or led running backs last year in fumbles lost. So definitely someone who struggles to hold on the ball. Also, that I agree with you. I never understood the Henderson stuff. He like squeezed up to like the 4th round at one point in like some fantasy drafts. And you look at the situation, it's like, why is he? I get somewhat draft capital. People think that he might be the guy, but like their situation should have been the exact same as what we saw with Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren, where they were going side by side. Maybe you had the rookie going ahead, but they should have been side by side in draft. It shouldn't have been like a 50 pick difference. That never, ever made sense to me. Let's talk a little bit about the hat you're wearing over there, your Dallas Cowboys. Sorry to bring them up, but I have to. Listen, CeeDee Lamb, he might be out for 4 weeks, might be out for 6 weeks. Seems like he's injured. They might hold him out for longer because, no offense, they don't look like they're going anywhere this year. So maybe they want to keep him a little bit more healthy for the future. So obviously, when a receiver like that, who's an absolute target hog, your first thought is where are the targets going after that? Could we see a bump in target share for Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, Ryan Flourney, if that's his name? Or are we just going to see everything like funneled towards Pickens and Ferguson in the passing game? What are your thoughts on the pass catching room for Dallas Cowboys?
So at Fantasy Life, we have rest of season projections, and some of it is automated, but there's also like the art of it where we go in and do some manual overrides. But we've built into it a decent number of automations based on research that we've done to see, okay, when a guy goes down, how is his opportunities, how are those distributed when he's gone? And generally, you would think, all right, maybe the wide receiver or like a guy steps up and he's like, oh, okay, this backup, now he gets some of that usage. It's like that normally doesn't work that way. Normally the production just funnels to the best guys in the offense. And so maybe the Cowboys run the ball a little bit more, pass a little less because they don't have their best pass catcher out there, although it's going to be hard for them to do that given how bad their defense is. So I think they probably still need to pass pretty aggressively. It just means they're going to do it less efficiently. But I think most of those opportunities that we're going to CeeDee Lamb are going to funnel to George Pickens and to Jake Ferguson. I will say Kevontae Turpin, I think, is a really interesting player. He's always been pretty efficient with his opportunities. They like giving him the ball out of the backfield as well. I think he's got a well-rounded skill set. You see that in his ability with the return game. So I'm not saying like he inherits the CeeDee Lamb role or anything like that, but I think he ends up getting more playing time and is almost like a full-time player in that offense moving forward. And I think he will actually kind of surprise some people with what he's able to do. But no, it's George Pickens as the alpha within this offense. And honestly, like I could see him being a top 12 fantasy wide receiver for the rest of the way if the Cowboys offense is actually able to continue to produce at a somewhat prolific rate. But again, like without CeeDee Lamb, you kind of have to question whether that's possible.
Yeah, it might be a little hard for them, but again, they're going to be in the game state to do so with how poor their defense is, like you said there. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to quickly hit you with a gut check right now. I'm going to say Kevontae Turpin. I'm going to give you a total on his receiving yards. Not posted right now. There's just something me coming up with on the top of my head. Let's go with like 18.5 minus 110 both sides. Are you betting the over or under on that? What's your gut click?
I would hammer the over.
Love it. All right.
I have the projection right now at 33.7.
Okay, wow.
Which that like maybe that's aggressive, but I think he's going to be a full-time player in this offense.
I would agree with you. I was trying to go a little bit conservative with the line. So, hey, when things get posted, maybe you can keep an eye out for that stuff. Last thing I have for you before you head out the door. I know you just talked about how where injuries funnel when a wide receiver, top-end wide receiver gets hurt. I think it's a little bit different when we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because everybody's hurt on the Buccaneers. Emeka Egbuka was like nicked up a little bit. Chris Godwin supposedly is coming back this week, but we don't know how healthy he is. Obviously, Tristan Wirfs coming back, nothing to do with their wide receiver group, but should help their offense get a little bit lift as well. I was kind of I don't want to say impressed with Sterling Shepard because it's like we're in the year 2025 and we're talking Sterling Shepard. But yeah, like, do you think that Chris Godwin is like a potential landmine this week and Sterling Shepard might be getting more looks than people expect?
Yeah, we'll see on the Chris Godwin news. Want to see the injury reports, if he's actually practicing in full, all of that. I'll say I'm a little bit skeptical, but assuming we see him this week, I still think they're going to ease him in a little bit. I would expect Emeka Egbuka to play ahead of him. I have him projected for 9.7 targets, which is on the higher end, but I think he's certainly earned it, especially now with Mike Evans being out. And then Sterling Shepard has been a perfectly serviceable, number 3 slot guy for this offense. I don't think there's anything special about him, but is he someone who could, given the connection that he has with Baker Mayfield and given what he has done to this point with the Bucs last year and this year, I think he's good enough. to hold off Chris Godwin for a little bit as they're still easing him into game shape. So yeah, I think Sterling Shepard, projecting him for around like 50 or so receiving yards, and Emeka Egbuka for around 80.
Okay, love it. All right, Matt, I appreciate you jumping on and joining the show. It's always great chatting with you. You can find Matt on Twitter at Matt F the Oracle. Excuse me. You go check out Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life as well. Great articles, great stuff there if you're a big lover of fantasy. Also, you do some betting articles on there as well, correct?
This year, just fantasy. We've got the betting projections, the game model there. We also have the player projection, so people can use those to bet if they want. We've also got a really great prop bet finder tool. But this year, no articles. It just took up too much time, and I wanted to focus more on fantasy.
Fair enough. Well, if people want your bets or your leans, you can come on and watch you on this show. All right, Matt. Appreciate you joining the show. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Have a good one.
All right. See you, Matt. Always great having Matt on the show. Very knowledgeable. Always knows his stuff. And I love his insights into things in terms of player usage and where the ball's going when we have injury news and the mess that is the New England backfield. Before we get into our next guest and bring up Drew here, just want to quickly, I mentioned something off the top of the show. Geoff, he went to Chicago and I was with him. For those of you who don't know, Geoff and I went to Chicago. We went to visit good friend of the show, GRP, and we have a little series that's been built out over it. I think this is episode 5 or 6 now. Is it?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
Episode 5 now. All right, episode 5. We have a little preview for you, so if you want to check it out, I believe it'll be live today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. On
7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern time. Sorry, I don't get the notifications I don't keep up to date with this stuff like Jacob does.
That's why you got a producer.
7 p.m. Eastern time. You guys can check it out here on the Hammer YouTube channel. Wow. Bring that notification bell and subscribe to be notified right when it goes live. Roll the clip.
Make sure I don't get in an accident here.
No, we don't want that. What's going on?
Wow, we almost got in an accident.
What happened?
Yeah, the guy was backing out at the same time.
Hopefully it's on film.
Yeah, it was an honest accident on both our parts. But he was flying out.
And he could have driven straight forward too, I feel.
Wow, looks like you're right.
All right, I was there for that. That was literally honestly the funny. I didn't get to hear them. They were in the car talking. I wasn't in the car. I was with the cameraman right there, and the cameraman and I were kind of dying of laughter because we were like, "What's going on? This guy's gonna hit. He's gonna get into a car accident." It's crazy.
Amazing choice for a promo clip.
Yeah. You get to watch the full thing. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Reminder: if you forget, just hit the notification bell. You'll be notified when it goes live. Notifications are way easier than having reminders, than trying to remind yourself using your own brain. My brain's obviously losing it now that I'm under the weather a little bit. Anyways, time to bring up a good friend of the show, Drew Dinsick at Whale Capper on Twitter. Looks like he's ready to roll. I've seen him doing like a little shoulder roll behind the scenes. Bring him on up. Drew, how's it going?
It's going great, man. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing well. Really excited to talk some NFL stuff with you today. Let's just dive right into it. Were you able to see the GRP clip, by the way? Or?
Yes, I'm not as online as I used to be, so I don't get all of the GRP jokes. To be honest with you, he just kind of seems like a sad old guy. But if he's having fun, then all's fair.
I appreciate it. You're not as mystified with him as I am. When you meet him in person as well, it just like adds to the lore building of GRP, but we can curtail the GRP talk for another day. Let's dive right into the games and talk about some stuff you've bet already for this NFL Week 4. Starting with the New York Jets money line. You like the New York Jets plus 130 against the Miami Dolphins. To me, obviously Dolphins covered on that Thursday night game. Made me sweat a lot for that survivor, but still I'm very unimpressed with that team. I'm assuming you like this plus 130. This is assuming Justin Fields is in for you, or you're good with Tyrod Taylor being in for this game at the plus 130. Give me your thoughts on this game and why you like the Jets here.
I'm actually hopeful it's Tyrod Taylor.
Okay.
I definitely don't have a good read on how that'll break, but there's not a lot that the Dolphins defense is going to do regardless. I don't really know what to say about the way that unit is playing right now. The pretty clear and obvious success that teams are having running against the Dolphins would be a huge concern going up against the Jets team that wants to lean into that. Whether it's Tyrod or Justin Fields, I think the success on the ground is going to really be key to keeping the Jets in this game. And then on the flip side, you have a pretty nice matchup against an offensive line that's been underwhelming, with particularly with Quinn and Williams, lining up over the middle and getting some quick pressure on Tua right now. Tua is clearly not playing with confidence. I don't know that there's much that can be done to scheme up, wins against this Jets team. And, if the Jets are beating them physically, if they're winning in the trenches, there's definitely in the back of my mind potential that the Dolphins just throw the white flag, let go of the rope, and ultimately get beat here. I've definitely kind of lost a little bit of kind of focus on how to properly rate the Dolphins. Right now, I would put Tua, kind of towards the bottom of quarterbacks who are taking snaps in the NFL. There's really nothing he's done this season that looks anywhere close to where he was pre-head injury last season. So I'm kind of the mind that he just may be done. And in that world, the pressure and the focus that's going to continue to build on him and his performance is, in my opinion, going to paint things negatively. So definitely kind of watching closely to see how this game unravels, because if the Dolphins come out and, have a unified, kind of team effort and beat the Jets convincingly, then obviously that puts their season on a different trajectory. But I kind of need to see that to believe it, because I don't really think that there's strong leadership in that locker room. I don't think there's strong, belief in what McDaniel is coaching them to do. And in particular, the weaknesses, which we already knew about in the secondary as far as coverage, compounding with the fact that teams can now physically push them off the ball and get whatever they want going on the ground, to me spells trouble.
Yeah, no, I'm fully in agreement with you on this one. Love the look. I also love your opinion on Tua, because a lot of people are like really attached to his priors. Whatever you think he was as a quarterback before his head injuries, it's almost clear now that his body's just given up on him. And like that sometimes happens. Like sometimes even at a younger age, he's not that old, but like sometimes your body just gives out and it can't maintain after the wear and tear on it. And we've seen it with other players before, but I think a lot of people are unwilling to move off of those priors and admit that has happened. But I'm fully in that camp, and I agree with you as well. He just doesn't look the same after the multiple head injuries and the most recent one, especially. One of the other games that you really like here that I'm interested in talking about is the Ravens -2.5, coming off of a tough loss to the Lions. I got smoked on that game, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, like you're a believer in buying the Ravens after a tough week against the Lions, going into KC. I remember a time when like Mahomes. If you can get Mahomes as a favorite under a field goal, you're clicking. At least I used to. Also super square, but that's besides the point. But yeah, like we have Mahomes here as an underdog. Obviously, the KC offense looks completely different. Give me your opinions on this game. You feel like the Baltimore Ravens obviously clear far and away, still the best team in the AFC as well?
I wouldn't say clear far and away the best team. Certainly the gap that I had preseason for them over the likes of the Bills and the Lions has narrowed significantly. But I'm pretty far off of market rating on Chiefs. Ultimately, do we expect the Chiefs to, kind of be in the mix in a weak AFC right now for a playoff spot? Yes. I think they are in deep trouble in terms of winning the AFC West. But this is still a team that I don't doubt that ultimately they'll win 9 or 10 games and be in the mix for a 6 or 7 seed. But the way that I rate them right now is kind of in like the +1 territory, whereas market rating I feel like is closer to +3 or +4.
Yeah.
Not sure what I've seen from them that warrants that kind of belief. It certainly feels to me, at least, like there was this expectation that they invested in all these fast guys. They're going to take the top off the defense. We're bringing back, classic Pat Mahomes. I haven't really seen the sharpness on his deep ball to think that is just a switch that can be flipped. So I'm a little bit like once they're at full strength with Rashee Rice back, because in particular, he kind of specifically backfilled a role that Travis Kelce, as he aged out, was vacating, which was an ability to win 1v1 quickly off line of scrimmage in that intermediate area. Like, I think that's where Pat Mahomes wants to do his damage. And so until Rashee Rice comes back, I pretty well think this is more or less a league average offense. The fact that, what has really flummoxed, or at least what has really stood out to me on film watching the Ravens so far this year, is that if you have a physical advantage with them in the trenches on offense, you can run the ball on this team. That was especially apparent in the absence of Madubuike on Monday night. And the Chiefs going to do that? I'll believe that when I see it. Like, the Chiefs really, really have a lot to prove in terms of running kind of an NFL level rushing attack. And, I think ultimately, if this is a lot of sort of the same kind of disconnected, hoping Mahomes makes some magic in the passing game type of, prayer, that sets up pretty poorly to keep up with a team that is going to score at will, I think, and in the Ravens against this Chiefs defense. So I'm fascinated to see where this market closes. Mm-hmm. There's two games that I think are like, I'm dying to see what sort of the end boss market makers think about some of these teams. This is one of them for sure.
All right.
I got in at 2.5 minus 112. It's drifted a little to 116. If this comes back in favor of Kansas City and the market kind of does believe in this Chiefs team and/or is truly selling the Ravens, I'm going to need to think pretty hard about my Ravens number and my Chiefs number. But I got a funny feeling this is closing 3.
All right. Wow. Closing out to 3. All right. Love that. I agree with you with the Chiefs running attack, atrocious. Like, you get Kareem Hunt, pick him up off the street. Is clearly a signal Isaiah Pacheco is not a guy. And yeah, I mean, I said this yesterday. It's gonna be tough for this Chiefs team to win when their best receiver is Tyquan Thornton. No matter how good you think Patrick Mahomes is, it's gonna be very tough. Marquise Brown doesn't look good. Juju is like way over the hill. You know what? Like, why don't we get into that second game that you were talking about there, that you alluded to, that you want to see the movement on? I don't know which one you have of this list that you want to talk about. That is in particular, but share it with the audience. I'm sure they're curious as well.
Yeah, it's Colts Rams.
Okay.
Colts Rams, both of them to my eye at least, like kind of watching the late week action. The Colts have been well supported now 3 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. Very, very clearly last week. Right, like that number was 3 at one point. It closes 6. That was one-way sharp action on the Colts all week, and I have seen and heard enough positive from players that I respect, kind of really believing in this Rams team, that I'm dying to know, like, what's the call here, guys? Mm-hmm. Like, are the Colts going to take money 3 weeks in a row, 4 weeks in a row? Like, you're getting a field goal here. Like, do you want it, or is this an opportunity to sell high on a Colts team that is fine, but maybe was really kind of at the advantage because of the opponents they faced the last 3 weeks? So kind of that's the one that I'm going to probably take the most away from just watching the market on Sunday morning and trying to understand, like, was it a bet against the 3 teams that the Colts faced? Because I can entirely believe if you were betting against the Dolphins, you were right. If you were betting against Bo Nix, you were right. If you were betting against the Titans, you were right. And you just happened to be betting on the Colts those 3 weeks. Yeah, kind of dying to see which way this one breaks now that it's sitting in that sort of 3 1/4 zone. Is this going to close a true 3.5, or is it going to close a 3?
What's your opinion on this Colts team? Like, what do you feel? Like, I know it's tough to say, but like, also, how do you approach these situations early on in the season? Are you someone who's like, because I know, for example, Chris Dierkes, very aggressive. Like, he likes to be aggressive when it comes to this stuff, and he always says, like, I'd rather be very, very wrong about the Colts than like it be week 10 and looking back and say, how the hell did we get the Colts at underdogs here, or maybe plus 3.5? How did we get a field goal with them? Should have been like way like that line was just way off, right? So how do you kind of approach these situations?
Yeah, this is a good question. I'm aggressively adjusting them up right now relative to preseason. I'm up over 3.5 points in terms of just neutral power rating on these guys. My offensive rating for the Colts now is 8th in the NFL. I'm still behind on defense. I think they're about the 24th best defense. This is not way off of market from where they currently stand. I'm just a little bit better than kind of a neutral rating, than a 0 at a neutral. For the Colts. So there's still room for me to go up with these guys, I think. My general read on the team overall is that the skill position group that they have is kind of the perfect, varied, kind of set of weapons, right? You have like a guy that can do everything and then even some redundancy, which is like valuable for injuries and stuff. So, they have everything you could hope for to put around a quarterback if the quarterback can operate the offense that you're calling. And the offensive line to this point has done a really, really, really nice job of run blocking and a fine job of pass blocking. And so I think that the game will kind of come down to, is this pass blocking unit vulnerable at all? Can Daniel Jones operate the offense if he's under distress? Because the pass rush for the Rams is just flat out awesome, period. And they have a number of weapons, wave after wave they can bring at you. I think they're going to generate pressure and they're going to make things tough for Daniel Jones. So my guess is when the Colts are up against defenses that can generate pressure at an elite clip, that Jones is going to look a little bit more like Pumpkin. And then when they're up against the dregs of the NFL, where he's just really not under much pressure, they're going to be able to lean into the run game. They're going to be able to utilize the weapons and really hurt teams and look like the world beaters that they have through 3 weeks. So they're probably going to be like last year's Broncos kind of, where they beat up on all of the terrible teams on their schedule and they grind their way to a clear win in division, but ultimately aren't much of a factor beyond that. So I don't think, they to me look like the team that might get like we'll just throw it up, probably a 4 seed. It's very tough for me to see Chargers and Ravens sliding out of 2-3 into 4, but maybe bit the 4 seed that hosts the best of the wild card teams and probably is laying points when they shouldn't be.
Yeah, and gets absolutely waxed in that game as well. Tough to see. I think it was like the Texans last year? It was like that. Anyways, or Bucks.
Texans were catching 3 points at home, and then they put a hurting on the Chargers. That was a wild one. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they're home dogs against a team that's unproven, then it is continue to back the Colts. But I have a tough time seeing that they wouldn't be eliminated in the wild card round.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's talk one more game because I have you for a little bit longer. How about this? Let's not talk about a game. Let's just talk about the game you're most interested in watching outside of this Colts and Rams game from just a viewer perspective. Like, first of all, how do you watch Sundays? Are you someone who has multiple screens? And then secondly, like the game that you want to have on your TV, is it going to be that Ravens-Chiefs game?
Ravens Chiefs for sure. I'm the most excited about because I feel like there's a world here where this is the moment to buy low on the Ravens. I look at the rest of their schedule and I'm like, okay, so you couldn't handle the 2 super physical, incredible rushing teams that you faced 2 out of the first 3 weeks. Maybe the other 2 best teams in the sport, you lost to them. Like, okay, you could win every other game on your schedule and it wouldn't shock me as I look at it right now, because their offense is that dynamic. So this could be the buy low time on the Ravens. And if they lose this game and they go 1-3, I'm going to be doing some serious soul searching on Sunday night into Monday morning. But it's definitely Ravens Chiefs. I generally put one game on the main screen that I'm the most kind of interested in following, and then just watch game day on the side screen so I can keep track of what else is going on in a given weekend. But because I know I'm going to go back and watch most of the games on the kind of cut up film through the incredible NFL Pro subscription on Monday and Tuesday anyway. So I don't feel like I have to see everything in real time because I'm not doing a lot of live betting. I'm mostly just trying to evaluate the game that I have the biggest opinion on.
All right, sounds good. Drew, appreciate you joining the show. Of course, betting analyst at NBC Sports and co-host of the Deep Dive podcast. You can find Drew on Twitter at @whale_capper. That's whale_capper. Drew, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Jason, thank you for having me as always, and best of luck this week.
Thank you. You too. See you, Drew. All right, great show for today, guys. Happy chat. You guys stayed in line. I'm proud of you guys. Nothing too crazy there. Let's drop a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed the show. Let's smash that like button as well. Thumbs up goes a long way for us here on the channel. Also, like, just maybe this is TMI for the audience, but I'm feeling a little under the weather, and our AC is not working in here. So you can imagine
It's
that
fucking hot
the
in here,
mixture
man.
of things. I'm like sweating and dying at the same time. Yeah, hopefully I powered through it. Hopefully I didn't sound too crazy. I was losing my mind a little bit there, but you know what? It is what it is for the chat, for you guys. We'll do just about anything. Just about anything, not anything. Anyways, reminder, before we head out, what do we have up next on the Hammer? We have the right after the show, we have what is it? The reaction video with Rob. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm actually really excited to watch it because I hear you guys cackling about it when I'm like editing it after I think it was 2 days ago on the Hammer Daily when you guys were recording it. You guys are just dying of laughter. So yeah, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, there was some advice that was touted on a YouTube video that Rob watched for the first time and reacted to it in real time, and we recorded his reaction. It's very entertaining, and I think it's very funny as well. So that's right after this. Like, literally, it's scheduled 1 minute from now. Go to the Circles Live channel. I'll put the link in the chat as well. Go ahead over and watch that.
All right, sounds good. And then what was up next? GRP Gone Wild today, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Adjusted time, 7 p.m.
Adjusted time. And then tomorrow we have the Best Bets show, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel. And then finally the watch along with George, myself, and Alex on the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel as well. Anyways, appreciate you guys all tuning in. Tomorrow we got Mr. Peanut Butter. We got Jeff Nadeau. We got Hitman. We got a college football block to start the show. Then we got Hitman coming in to share his props, talk some Thursday night football. I'm going to be excited to do that show with you guys. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm your host, Jason Cooper. That was Jacob Gramegna. You've been watching the Hammer Daily here on the Forward Progress. Wow. You need to
sleep more, man. You need to take a note out of Flup's book. You need to sleep a little bit.
Got to sleep in next time. Anyways, you've been watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel, part of the Hammer Bank Network, and presented by FanDuel. We'll see you guys tomorrow.